Hello, so we are now on Module 3, Lesson 1. So please make sure that your Module 3 workbook is in front of you. And you are on Lesson 1. I am beginning on page 2. So our learning target for today's lesson is to be able to say that I can extend my understanding of a number line, which includes 0, and numbers to the right or above that are greater than 0, and numbers to the left or below 0 that are less than 0. I can use positive integers to locate negative integers by moving on the opposite direction from 0. I can understand that a set of integers include the set of positive whole numbers and their opposites as well as 0. And I understand that 0 is its own opposite. Okay, and integers is just a math term that we use to describe just whole numbers and their opposites. Okay, so like 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3, 0, -10. Those are all just integers. So whole numbers, positive or negative, is what we call an integer. So let's go ahead and work on the first exercise, working 1 through 5. The first part says, complete the diagrams, count by ones to label the number lines. So I first started by just putting a 0 in the middle of both my horizontal and vertical number line. Okay, so if you put a 0 in the center, you're going to have 5 intervals on each side of 0. So let's go ahead and start with 0. And then I'm going to just number up going to the right of 0. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do the same thing to my vertical number line, starting at 0. Then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is kind of like a thermometer. So when we look at our number line, I can see that as numbers, as I move to the right of 0, the numbers increase. Same as when I move up on a vertical number line from 0, the numbers increase. Well, that's going to be kind of the opposite effect when I'm going to the left of 0. So if they increase, as I go to the right, they're going to decrease as I move to the left. And the 0 is its own opposite, but because 1 is exactly 1 unit to the right of 0, when I am numbering this number line to the left of 0, I'm going to start with 1, but it's going to be a -1 because -1 is exactly 1 interval to the left of 0. Now, when I have 2 over here, I have 1, 2 intervals to the right of 0. I'm going to have 1, 2 intervals to the left of 0, and that's going to be a -2. So I'm going to finish numbering my number line. And the values decrease. So you see how I started with 1, and then to the left it goes 2, then to the left it goes 3, then 4. Because if you think about it in the sense of maybe owing somebody some money, so let's say you borrowed money from me, would you rather owe me $1 or $2? Right? Wouldn't you rather only have to owe somebody $1 because you're closer to being not in debt, not having any money owed? And so $2 is actually a larger value of debt. And you kind of want to have the smaller value of debt as you get closer to 0, because you're closer to being 0, as opposed to, you definitely wouldn't want to owe me $5. Wouldn't you rather only owe me $1? So this is a lesser amount of money owed as opposed to owing me $5, right? So you can see that because these are just a mirror image of each other, you need to start with -1 on this side. Oftentimes I'd see people go -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, because we don't number it the same way if they're a negative value. And we're going to do the same thing on our vertical number line. So because this is one interval away up on my number line as a positive, I'm going to be -1, 1 unit away from 0, below 0. So my negative values are always to the left of 0 or below 0 on a number line. Okay, so then next it says to plot your point on both number lines. So I get to pick a point that I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, here's my point that I picked. So it says to show and explain how to find the opposite of your number on both number lines, okay? So I have to find what is the opposite of -4. Well, when I look at this -4, I know that the -4 is 4 units to the left. This is very important. 4 units to the left of 0. So its opposite Okay, so its opposite would be found 4 units. So starting back at 0, I'd go 4 units to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that would be its opposite. I would do the same thing here. So if I have my -4, I am 1, 2, 3, 4 units below 0. Four units below 0. So its opposite would be 4 units above 0. So then it says mark the opposites on both number lines. Okay, so I already know that the opposite of -4 is going to be +4. Okay, so then I have my positive over here and my negative down here. So then the opposite of -4, my vertical number line would be +4 up here because it is 4 units above the 0, which is the opposite of 4 units below 0. Okay, so that's my explanation, kind of how I'd write out how to be able to find the opposite on both number lines. So if it's on a horizontal number line, you're either going to go to the left or to the right of 0. And if it is on a vertical number line, you're either going above or below 0. I marked the opposite on both number lines. And it says to choose a group representative to place the opposite number on the class number line. We don't really have that, so we'll just go with one more example. Doing 4 and 5 isn't going to really work. So let's do one more. I'll pick a different color. I'm going to pick a positive value now. So I'm going to pick 2, a positive 2 for both my number lines. So then I want you to pause this video very quickly, and I want you to think about what would be the opposite of 2, and I want you to locate the opposite of 2 on your number line, on your horizontal number line and your vertical number line. So go ahead and mark on your number lines now the opposite of 2. I want you to find the opposite of positive 2 and mark it on both of those number lines. Okay, so hopefully you went 1, 2 units to the left of 0, because positive 2 is 1, 2 units to the right of 0. Positive 2 is 1, 2 units above 0, so its opposite would be 1, 2 units below 0. Okay, so the lesson is pretty self-explanatory, I think. And so I know that the online exit ticket version is often different than the paper online version. And so depending on what you have to mark on there, if you choose to do the paper one, you can send me a picture of it. That's okay. And upload it to the slide as well. Well, actually, I just looked at the online exit ticket real quick. So there looks like there's a lot of questions, but really all that it is asking you, so they already have the 0 placed in between the B and the C. So this is 0, then you can go ahead and finish writing the intervals of what that would be, going in intervals of 1. So then the very next one, you would write 1, and this one then to the left would be -1. So you can go ahead and finish on its own. And what your exit ticket is asking you to do on the online version is to, the first question I believe asks what A is. So then after you finish writing out your intervals, your positive and your negative values, you're going to just tell what the integer A is. Remember, an integer is just a fancy math word for a whole number, negative or positive on a number line. So what is the actual number of A, and wants to know what really B is, what really C is, and what is the integer for D. And then the next one is the same thing that you would do here, but they're just broken up in each different slide. So like the first question for number 2 has this underlined in red. You're just supposed to say what is the integer that is in between -3 and -5. And then the next question after that is just asking what this value would be, what is between -1 and 1. Then the next question on the exit ticket is just asking what this is. So it looks like it's a really long exit ticket, but it's really just the same as this. It's just broken down in each question so that I can grade each one as it is. And then same thing with the couple slides after that. It actually has a couple of them labeled A and B, I believe. And it's just asking a couple questions about this one. So follow along with the prompts on the exit ticket. And it's really very similar to what this is asking you, okay? All right, well, good luck, and I hope that you enjoyed learning about negative and positive values, and we're going to continue that in the next couple of lessons.